So, a topic I've really been meaning to talk about for a while, but I just haven't really gotten to it, is synchronicity. Because, especially since I've started using YouTube so much, a lot of synchronicities have been happening. And, the easiest way to define a synchronicity would be a meaningful coincidence. It's a meaningful coincidence because it's more than just a random chance occurrence of two things lining up. It's it's a chance occurrence that happens for a reason, that reveals an underlying connection between events in the world that we don't normally perceive. Um, but sometimes strange things will happen. Like we'll go somewhere and we'll meet someone there that we haven't seen in a while, and we're like, wow. Or maybe we were just thinking about them before we left for this place, and so it was strange to actually see them when we got there. Um, One of the most profound synchronicities that happened to me was, multiple things lined up. It was like, so one afternoon I was talking with a friend of a friend just about philosophy and you know, literature in general, and he mentioned Marcel Proust, and I've never read Proust before that or heard of it actually. And he said, you should really go check out A Swan's Way. And so I was like, okay. But just prior to that conversation, I had been drawing an idea for a tattoo, and it was a tree overhanging a river on a little island with the sun rising in the background. And so then I heard about Proust and Swan's Way, and I went to the bookstore to not even to look for that book. Actually, I had forgotten about it. I was just walking through the aisles, going to the philosophy section, and I was walking through literature, and I saw this picture on a book that looked exactly like the tattoo I had just drawn a day or two earlier, with the tree overhanging the river, and it's almost shaped like a yin yang because of the way the branches hang over and the water pushes inward into the island and stuff. But I saw the exact image, or basically exact, on a book, and it was this gray book with the picture just in black print, you know, one color, just black and gray. And I picked it off the shelf, and guess what it was? It was Marcel Proust, Swan's Way. And then I started to sit down and I read the first few pages. And, again, literally the night before or the day before, I've been writing about dreams and memory and how it forms our identity. And the first few pages of Proust are about exactly that. Um, so, it's all these events that just line up, and it's like, wow, why all these meaningful coincidences? And it's easy to say, oh, it's just an accident, it's a random chance occurrence, and sometimes weird things happen, but there's no greater meaning to it. But I think, just okay, let's say it is just a coincidence. What does it mean for things to coincide? Two things, it means two things are connected somehow. Random or not, they're connected. So that requires, a me, a consciousness, to be aware of a specific event in the world that applies to me, or that I at least feel applies to me. So, even for someone that doesn't believe in any greater connection, between people, any acausal relationships between events in the world, in other words, that aren't related um, in time, because it's not like, oh, this happens here, and then 50 minutes later, it affects this object over here at a different time. No, it's they both coincide. They both meet one another at the same place and at the same time in a meaningful way. And it's always me, a person, an individual, coming into contact with an event in the world that they almost feel they predicted, or they expected, or they aren't separate from. Um, and I think synchronicity has a lot to do with karma, and not the kind of karma where it's you do bad things and you get like, negative points on your permanent record or something, and you do positive things and you get stars. It's not the kind of karma I'm talking about. I'm talking more about the law of cause and effect, the law of your own action and what your own doing creates in the world, what your own doing, your own action does to delude your consciousness into thinking it's separate from the world, into thinking that others are somehow bad or wrong, and they infect my goodness with their less than ideal behavior or less than ideal motivations or whatever it is. We're always projecting that onto other people, because we are like that. We project onto others what we feel ourselves to be. Obviously, what else could we project onto them? We know ourselves, and we expect everybody else to be like us. And that expectation, in fact, brings that behavior out of them. Because, karma shows that there is no separation between cause and effect, and that cause and effect are really conventions. Nothing in this world that we ever experience is a cause of anything else. It's an effect. Everything affects everything else because everything is connected. Everything is synchronous. This is like why I think at some level astrology is legitimate, because why would we have any reason to believe the motions of the planets are somehow separate from us? It's all nature. It's all evolved together. It all exists as some greater unity. It's a huge organism. It's a body. Just like every part of my body affects every other part of my body. If I get an infection in my arm, it's going to travel through my bloodstream and my neurons, and I'm going to feel the pain, and it's going to affect the state of my metabolism, and my whole body changes. Everything about my body is connected. And that's why the soul is located in the body. Because, mind over matter happens every second of every day. Like, look, I'm speaking and I'm moving my arms around. And somehow consciousness is influencing matter, causing matter to come alive. And somehow matter is speaking, causing ideas to be seen and experienced. That's amazing.